were not only powerful, but capable of taking sharp curves. The machine chosen for these conditions in West Java was the articulated Malay type, the most common type being these CC-50 Class 2660s, designed and built by Werkspoor in Amsterdam in 1927. One of their last duties was the branch service from Cibatu to Garut. Despite the extra power and size of these engines, their axle load was comparatively light, since the weight was spread over 14 wheels. This made them a perfect choice of power for branch lines laid with lighter rails than the main line. When the train returned from Garut, it had to run tender first, as there was no turntable. The depot at Cibatu was unique in that right up to the end of steam, all the engines were Malay articulateds, including these tank engines of the CC-10 class, dating from 1904. They were supposed to be the regular engines for the Garut branch, but the poor condition of the last active survivor made it obvious why the CC-50s were often used instead. But the most impressive items in Cibatu's collection of Malays were these huge 2880s, weighing nearly 100 tons. They were Indonesia's most powerful locomotives. 10 were built, and as with other designs, the prototypes were built at Werkspoor in Holland, while the rest were built in Germany. In 1974, there were just 2 of them left in service. Number DD 5203 was Cibatu's star loco, and was always kept clean, although the standard of mechanical care left much to be desired in these last days of steam. By 1974, most of the local goods traffic had been lost to the roads, resulting in the bizarre sight of the largest Malay in service anywhere in the world, employing 16 driving wheels to pull just one coach. The other survivor was number DD 5208, portrayed here struggling pathetically along the main line with its single coach, steam leaking from every joint. This turned out to be its last full day of service, June the 12th, 1974. We followed this ailing giant from Titjalenka to Cibatu, past the ever-present backdrop of mountains, palm trees and rice paddies, which gave the Indonesian railways their special charm. As the mammoth DD-52 arrived at the wayside station of Meles, one soon realized why there was only one coach provided for passengers. Most of them preferred to travel on the locomotive, a small tip to the driver being a lot cheaper than the regular fare. This was a normal feature of local rail travel in Indonesia at the time, and the authorities turned a blind eye, since the train crews were poorly paid, and most of the passengers couldn't afford the full fare anyway. The driver started off again, propping the regulator open with a piece of wood, and once more the 16 driving wheels ground slowly into action. The first 8 driving wheels were carried on a large swivel frame, while the rear 8 were mounted on the main frame. One could clearly see the sideways movement of the front wheels under the boiler as the locomotive negotiated the curves of the station track work. Despite its poor upkeep, this steam dinosaur still looked impressive as it lumbered up the mountain grade, cheered on by local children. The next day, 5208 set off again for its return run, this time with a more respectable payload. Unfortunately, the effort proved too much for the old beast, who got halfway along the line and broke down. One of the smaller Malays was hastily sent to the rescue from Cibatu depot. The 8-coupled giant was dragged ignominiously back to Cibatu, where its condition was pronounced terminal. The last survivor, 5203, was withdrawn 2 months later, bringing to a close the 50-year reign of these giants of Java.